Hey folks, how you doing? We are back at the WildFlow podcast headquarters here in Kaiser, one of our headquarters. We got a special show coming up for you today. Actually, we are welcoming the RSL group. That's Rogers, Stickley, and Lay, and we are celebrating the brand new album that is imminently being released as we speak. And it's called Welcome to Kaiser. That's Keyser. I've got it here. Look at that. Check it out. See? I've got it right here. And we are having a show. Now you won't see this in time, but we are doing a album release from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Today on Saturday. This will have already taken place when you see this podcast when it will be published. But we're here to talk to Anthony Rogers, Jennings Stickley, and Bartholomew Lay. Barty. Okay. And we're gonna just we're gonna talk a little bit. They're gonna be doing most of the talking because they're gonna take us through the album. Tony and Jay grew up here in Kaiser, known each other since they were very young, grade school, high school, and came back to the area. Both of them have lived out of the area at certain times, and they've both come back to the area. They're full-time residents. Bart moved here to Kaiser as an adult, so didn't grow up here, but has been here for a long time. Is an outstanding drummer in the area, plays with other bands, has done a lot of work in the DC area and also here locally. So we're going to throw it over to RSL and let them talk about the invention, the birth of this album, and how it came to be. Was it conversations? What happened? Why did they decide to do this? Get together, write it, perform it, and record it. So we're going to go over to them now. RSL.
Jay, start talking.
Okay. Well, actually, it didn't start out to be welcome to Kaiser or any kind of concept at all the songs. Tony, this is was this your fifth or sixth? How many albums? He's put out plenty of music.
5 since I come back here, 6 total though. But
yeah, so he's wrote all the music, and like that, and Bart laid down the drums. So he had these tracks, and he brought me in to add some guitar, basically, so he could put my name on it, done anything I did. But we got together and we started writing together our lyrics. And I guess just part of us growing up in the area, and as we're writing lyrics, we're also telling stories, which ended up into the songs. And so it just took off to that. And we were about halfway through, had about 3 or 4 songs, and realized even then we really didn't decide that's what we're going to do. It just kept moving forward that way.
yeah, that I think to me, when I realized it was going that we were working on Floating Down, and you talked about that line about you can't have a plan, life's not in your hands, and I started reasoning, my God, I mean, this is all about Kaiser. And it was kind of the end of the line because the song that I was working on at the same time, and largely some of that was by myself until we got the lyric stage, but was the song, and then Bart came in and added just these beautiful breezy drums. It was that soul song, Somebody Someday, and that song's about everybody leaving town. Well, Floating Down's kind of everybody coming back home and kind of a celebration of that, and just kind of realize that it's all about the people. But yeah, man, I don't know, Bart. When did you come into the picture on it, man? Well, you I remember there were a couple great sessions. There was one of them that really kind of. I remember Jay said, "What'd you say?" It was like kind of changed it into a real.
Oh,
record.
It
didn't sound like a real
makes
record
anyhow.
until Bart started playing on it. It was good.
So I just, I've been playing a lot, and my chops were pretty good, and I felt good this one day, and everything, the stars aligned, and just knocked them out one after the other, about 5 or 6 that day.
There was one day.
Wow.
The days, particularly the next to last one, was just outrageous. I mean, he was on fire that day. Everything gave life. Well, Bart and I've worked for a long time, and he's been on all these projects that I've had pretty much, in varying amounts, different places, and we've been. But it's you kind of get to know. He kind of knows how eclectic I am.
I love your Tony has he's very gifted in tapping that creative pool, and it's never ending. It's like, you know, um, fountain of youth, but the fountain of creativity. He is tapped, and he lives there, and I like to be able to participate with it, and very honored to
Yeah,
have done that.
I'm definitely the new guy. I've never played in the group. That music, and
Yeah, so you're
my involvement was I wrote, introduction to his last album, but and Tony got me up. Without him, I wouldn't have brought it in. And man, I've loved it. It's been a blast.
Well, I tell you, so honestly, and it's it just goes to show you that some people when I did say, and Jay knows this, some people when I did say, hey, I'm working with Jay, that they would say, Jay, I didn't know Jay played. I said it's not about the music is not. He does play number one, but number two, it was about the stories and it was about the knowledge of what happened. And I think it lifted
right there.
I think it lifted stuff up, man. I tell you, one time we got to the point where we would work eye to eye with this shit. And I will never forget on the Roy Plummer song, the song about Roy Plummer, when the Roy Plummer song ended, Lee decided to do the flipperoo at the end. And instead of talking about, in the last verse, instead of talking about Roy Plummer, the last verse, the last couplet starts out where there's something deep in my soul, in my head, gets so strong that I have to do it then. I mean, it's, that to point out the fact that the only difference between, to brutally point out in an ironic way that the only difference between you and him is self-control.
Yeah, Roy Plummer, he was a year older than me, 2 years older than Tony, I think. But I knew him. I was friends with him.
Oh, we
hung out with him, and he becomes a bank robber. So like some of the songs are more specific than others. Of course, that one, and then the playground song. That's unbelievable. That's a true story.
It is. It's insane.
right. Well, I mean, the album, two sides, full album, full length. On the first side, Roll on Potomac, first track, Kaiser Crew. Then Kaiser Girls 2, Summer Song, Playground Stage, which is the ass kick tag song, and then Coming Undone. And then side 2 has Potomac Valley, Jacko, which is the interlude, Somebody Someday, Never Before, which is the song you were talking about, The Legend of Roy Plummer. Always the Same, Sad Song in Your Heart, Floating Down, and of course you end the album with Kaiser Girls 1. So you make Kaiser Girls 2 the first Kaiser Girls song. Kaiser Girls 1 ends the album. Okay.
Yeah.
So
like I said,
any reason we did that? Why did we flip that? Whose idea was that?
2 was going to be the version that was released, the only one on the album. And then
Okay.
Kaiser Girls 1. And I always like Kaiser Girls 1 better than Kaiser Girls 2.
Yeah, you always want to have a strong opener and a strong closer.
Then
On
we
any
realized
LP.
we also had one of our very, very close friends. He has a picture on the album, Carl Corbin, and he had sang on Kaiser Girls 1. So it made.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Makes me smile every time I hear it, But
Yeah.
how Kaiser Girls started, we went to a party down in Fort Hill, and I went to a party with Jimmy Allison and Butch Apple, friends of mine from Fort Hill, and we went down there like, oh, there's all these good girls. We walked in and they're like dancing to the Bee Gees. How deep is your love? And I'm thinking, man, what in the world? I mean, we don't. Number one, the girls didn't dictate the music in Kaiser. It was kind of free. Sometimes they did, but sometimes they didn't.
Yeah.
But they didn't like that stuff. They liked the Rolling Stones and they like rock and roll. I mean, you can tell the difference. People from Kaiser and the other people, yeah.
And like one of the really specific lines in that is like people don't know. When Tony and I went to school, there were 3 buildings and like half an acre lot. You went first grade to 6th grade, and then you went to high school. And you walked across the playground to go to high school. And like I always remember in the 6th grade we all had girlfriends. Then we became 7th graders, and you learned girls date older guys. Quickly. So it was just like walk across the playground when high school began.
Right.
Truth.
And then like the ass kick song, that was actually a true story where it's simple enough. We used to play tag, and whoever was it when the bell rang, everyone got to kick them in the ass one time. It got so big.
And when you guys were in high school, what was your range? 76 to 80? 70, 70 well, actually 72 to 76, right?
Yeah, we were probably 7th, 8th grade at that
right.
time. Big.
But your graduation dates were in the 70s. So
yeah, I graduated 77. He graduated 78.
Right. So you guys were smack dab in the middle of the 70s. The the whole '70s scene,
Now coming up to
music wise, film wise, everything. Yeah,
Yeah, we were lucky,
yeah,
and we didn't
great
have.
decade. You
I
know.
always tell my kids, I said, if they brought one of those back in the day and showed us, I'd have been in all the features. You can listen to music, you can text your friends, your parents can always.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody and I
Or
said,
it's in the
I
album, the songs. Just
we
leave
used to cruise
it,
up to
man.
Waxler Road on the top of in the orchards in a car full of people, right? And we go up there at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And I was always in the radio and TV. And we would go up there and we found a spot. We had one spot where if we sat the car directly, we could hear Whoa Whoa in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and WKBW in Buffalo, New York. And
Well,
WKBW would play Yes and Todd and King Crimson and everything. You know what I mean? It was like an album oriented rock station in Buffalo. And if you just drove 20 minutes up the mountain, you could get it clear as hell. But that's the only place you could hear music on
we
the radio.
did the same thing at the gas wells. So listen to this DC 101.
Yeah.
That's where the Kaiser Girls came from. How's it go?
Like a
Yeah.
Go to a
to a
mountaintop.
mountaintop. Yeah.
That's exactly what.
Because now on my phone, when I listen to music, I listen to BBC live and on demand. All my radio listening is in the UK,
Yeah.
Scotland, and London,
That's
and
amazing. When
like
you,
it's amazing to think. If you'd have told me that in those days when I'm driving up on top of a mountain to listen to one radio station, I'd be like, "You're absolutely full of shit. That will never happen." You know.
that's
But the fact that it happens now and you're internationally connected and somebody can download this album in Scotland tomorrow night and listen to it in its entirety
yeah,
and
they can.
not have to worry about looking for it. They can literally pull it down immediately and have it to listen to on their
Yeah,
computer or their
Brian.
device.
Yeah, Brian said he just was listening to it on Spotify, so it's on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Now, at the end of this, I assume producer Joe will have some links to where the album is downloadable to, and what the
Yeah,
Spotify link is, and where it's available to even
yeah,
purchase electronically if somebody wants to purchase it
yeah.
electronically.
And I think the way too, I think it should be pointed out the way we did is kind of slowly folded out. Like for instance, I think one of the high spots on the whole deal uh, is "Sad Song," and it's kind of an electronic song, and
Right.
the drumming on that is just with the intricacy of the overdubs and stuff. To me, really kind of sets it apart from the makes it more of a more
your
percussive.
bass line.
Yeah, it's simple, isn't it?
That bass line.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. You know.
Yeah.
That makes
Absolutely. Is there anything else? I mean, about any of the other origins of some of the other songs, whether it be, I mean, I like Roll on Potomac to open the album. I think it's a great song about the area. It's you could I can almost see that song being used in an ad or
right.
in an ad with a bed on top of it,
The one,
for this area, you
yeah, the
know.
line in that song came from my father. Told me about it. It's true about his my aunt when she was 5 years old. The troops used to come through Kaiser all the time, and I didn't.
Right.
Actually, she ran from the house naked down there one time. We would dance for the soldiers. Come in, and like my dad said, they couldn't find her. She would always run down. When they go in, she'd be in there getting ice cream and hanging out with all the soldiers.
Yeah, I mean that's it's there's so many good songs, and some people were like, well, you had to grow up here, but really I don't think you had to listen to a lot of the songs on here. I'm familiar with them because I know who they're about, but even if you don't know that person, a lot of the songs are, they're very strong lyrically. They all tell a story, which is something Tony and I talked about months ago on one of our podcasts. I believe it was the Warren Zevon podcast, and we talked about the key to a good songwriter is you've got to be a damn good storyteller, because if you're not, no one cares about what you're no one really cares unless you're telling a good story. I mean, a good story is always fantastic, and every one of these songs are a story about something. They're either very personal to you or it's something that everyone knows, but they're all stories centered in this area. or the origin of these songs are in this region or area or town.
Yeah, I think if you're in this area, think of the thing right. Potomac, I think has a. I think the way the Bard attacked it gave it kind of a Richie Hayward, Little Feat type
Yeah, yeah,
of.
absolutely.
We were laughing about it yesterday, but it turns out that it's like 6'8", 8'8" or whatever. It ends up being 7 again. It's always end up somehow at 7. I don't know how that works out.
Yeah, yeah. But Tony, like Jay had said, Tony's released quite a few releases. Have they all been on WildFlow?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. The first one was on a label, private label. They're all privately owned labels.
Right, and you're on Spotify with it, pretty much everything, right
Yeah,
now.
the first one one day will be the first one.
Right.
I think that I had a friend from San Diego actually that
We talked
did a
about
version.
Bart. What was some of the bands you played in back in the day, early '80s?
Yeah, back around here.
No, down in DC.
Oh, the Now and 10 Below were the two ones.
What bands did you play in around here?
Well, I just played. I mean,
Okay.
10 Below started here and ended up down there, but I'd played before in some versions.
That's another thing.
Crosstown Traffic and Cloud and
Tony and I both cut our live music teeth. I'm sure as you did at the all ages dances at the Armory with.
Right. They went on for quite a while. Yeah, there was nothing like seeing Wizard and the bands like that up there that were fantastic. Yeah, I mean, local bands doing covers was where everybody started, I think. Yeah. Lots of Kiss and Thin Lizzy covers.
Oh, Kiss right here. That was my first concert on the bus with Tony.
Have mercy.
$10, Willett's bus tour back in the day. Wow. Hey, well, in 1975, when you're in the 9th grade, I'm not going to make it.
Well, I was 13 I was 13 on a Willett's bus tour, and it was to see Nazareth and in Pennsylvania. And there's a couple people that you can ask, but I was told I was not allowed to ride the bus back to Cumberland because I had the most foul mouth that the bus driver had ever seen on a young man in his life.
Oh,
so I literally had to shut my mouth the entire way back from Johnstown without saying a word. I couldn't even open my mouth. I was like, he goes, "You're not coming back on this bus."
I've grown up in this area, and it's referencing Roll on Potomac because they were halfway between Steele and DC, meaning Pittsburgh and Washington.
2.5 hours, right, from each
service. And now they hear I'm from West Virginia, and they think you're not close to anything. And I'll be like, I was in Pittsburgh and DC.
Yeah. You're in right smack dab in the middle, like 2.5 from each, and you're there. So, you could be down in the middle of the state where you are in the middle of nothing, where you can't get to anything. But, yeah, you're in striking distance of everything. So,
if you got your driver's license, you were hitting shows at the Capitol Center.
Oh, yeah.
House.
Absolutely.
Hey, one of the things I wanted to say was that, Bart had mentioned early on with this, and I never really thought about it, doing something like this, that there'd be some kind of expectation for us to play. And so eventually we put together a small little thing we're going to be doing tonight. It's not going to.
Right. And you will be performing at some level tonight. During the record release party at North Branch. Right?
Yeah, acoustic. I'm going to play the first song and a few other tasty
Michael Hurley,
Townes Van Zandt, and
Thunderhill.
Oh, some Thunderhill.
Yes. They got a chick. They got a boom chick right out the
door. the original Kaiser band.
Oh, Thunderhill. I love that old record. That whoa, me, Shame and Family, Shame, whatever it is on the Family.
I love that. I love it.
Pizza Pro.
But yeah, that's yeah. Now the record, like we said, we talked about, it will be available on digital formats, and I think Bart, you're going to have it at Solar Mountain Records in Kaiser.
Yeah.
Until you run out. So you might want to get down to Solar Mountain, see Bart, pick up your own copy, because they're certainly not unlimited. They're there till they're gone, and then there won't be another printing after this. Correct?
No, and I think what's really nice about it, it's kind of commemorative in a way because the front page shows of the insert show. There's an insert about Roy Plummer in there. There's also an insert about some of the old guys that we're talking about in the Hellion days, mostly Jay's pictures, and then there's some about the music thing and brings it up to the date. All the music there. There's one about our kids that we grew up, Jay and I, when we were young with our brothers. Ironically, we both had little brothers we could pound on growing up. Not really. I mean, my brother now say that he kicked me out.
I can still pound my brother.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jay's okay. You, Tony, are in a different boat.
Yeah,
I love mine too.
Yeah, Bart's brother too, man.
I got two.
I've never met Bart's brother.
I got two younger brothers.
Wow.
And they play piano and they're super talented.
Wow.
Nice.
Knew the one was a performer. The one was performing, right? They both did.
My brother Larry, he's turning 60 tomorrow. It's his birthday, and he's moved down to Cape Coral, Florida. And
was he in Cape Coral?
Mm-hmm. House pianist at Middleton's in downtown, the docks in Annapolis.
Wow.
For 5 years.
What a gig.
Wow.
Heads broke up.
Oh, your brother was in the Kook Heads.
Yeah, my brothers were in the Kook Heads.
That's wild. Bart moves here. I went to the Goodwill one day, and I had him his records, and not one, but two of his groups. There was CDs. Stacko Blue.
Yeah. So Bart's made records. A lot of records too, man. It's great. It's great. It's fun.
It's fun. I love to record, and
Totally.
Yeah, I mean it's wild at a town this size that there would be so much original music emanating from this town. I mean,
oh yeah, you got Bunk and them on that.
Yeah, there's a Red Nail group with 30 bands, and then WildFlow Media, and I mean, and then we're not talking about a town of 40,000. We're talking about a town of 5,000 people. And I used to tell people, hey, we're a lot smaller than Cumberland, but a hell of a lot cooler. I can tell you that. There's no doubt about it. Those people down in that area would just be like, yeah, we're having this big party or we're doing this. Oh, really? Yeah. And they're going to see a band that is doing covers for the 100th time.
There's so many levels though. There's so many levels though to getting there. I mean,
play
there's
that funky music.
Yeah, there's just so much misunderstanding along the way from everybody. I mean, people think that and they don't realize it. After a while, kind of what's happened to me is I went from a guy who used to gig in bands and stuff, and when I came back, I didn't have time for it, and I started doing the recording, and so I kind of turned into more like a painter or something now.
Right.
Than like somebody that makes, as opposed to being a that, but add effects doing hand gestures. I don't think so. Does it want to be psychedelic or something? I'm not sure.
So, you've gone more of the Andy Partridge route. You're recording and not performing. So
yeah, I don't know. I just perform. It would be fun. We're talking about punk rock and shit. I think like Kaiser Girls, like the Damned. It would be fun to put together a set with like Clash, Damned, Sex Pistols, all different stuff. It'd be kind of fun to have a whole the Germs, have a whole thing just run through some stuff. It wouldn't be that hard.
I like the Germs.
Yeah, man.
No.
Fun stuff to play drums. Bart would love that, man. It's a lot of fun. High energy, man.
Yeah, I mean it would be kind of like those old gigs at the theater up the street. Those were fun.
First thing
with the kids. Yeah.
Those
were great. Those were fun. I went in there and listened to a bunch of Elvis Costello covers one night.
That's right.
That was always good. Some Ramones covers.
Yeah.
So that was always fun.
Yeah, I think Blake's in. I think I got to see Blake.
That's great.
Maybe we can shoot some video and fly some into Joe and into the whole thing when we're done. But
that would be fantastic.
Anything else you want to say about this?
I'm good. I'm just along for the ride. Thank God.
So you're all good. It's RSL, Rogers, Stickley, and Lay. It's the Welcome to Kaiser project, and it's finally come to fruition. Will there be a part 2? Will we be looking for a Bat Out of Hell 2 on this one?
I don't don't know if it's about out of help. I will say that we have about 3 or 4 tracks left over, and I think 2 of them at least are workable.
Well, you could always do a mini EP. You could do an
Well,
EP.
Bart
You
did
know?
this wonders. It's a really long song, and I hesitate to tell you. These guys know the subject matter about it.
Right.
What I was going to do is I was going to have a gal in town singing, and it'd be about like a booty call between somebody's Jesus and somebody that had gone to the other side. So I just didn't want to upset them, but I wanted them to inform them at one of these meetings when they were trying to lecture and saying, God says this, God says that. Well, I'm sorry, but your God was here about 3:30 last night. And when we were getting it on.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think that would affect.
For the real God, please stand up.
So anyway, you guys will be there tonight. Of course, you won't know. Nobody out in podcast land will know that because this is getting published at a later date. Producer Joe will get it up as soon as he can. There should be a link or two to be able to find the release electronically, and then we'll take it from there. But keep an eye on WildFlow. We have podcasts coming out every week. We have reviews, top tens, everything. So stop by, like it, leave your list. Leave us a comment if you pull down the album and you get the chance to listen to it. I'm sure the guys would love to hear from you and see what you think about side 1 and side 2 and some of the songs. Okay?
No problem, man.
Thanks, Dean.
Thank you,
No,
Dino.
no problem. Good to see you guys. We're gonna have a couple adult beverages and celebrate the release now. Okay? See ya.
You
All
guys.
right, see you.
Remember standing on the curb at the Christmas parade, scooping up the candy in the snow and the rain. Keep rolling Potomac down that B&O line. It's gonna be just fine.